Trying to understand the federal government's role in education can be a bit complicated. A simple analogy might help. This is Washington's role in education, made simple. Brought to you by the Heritage Foundation. Welcome to 50 Estates, a small housing community. Its residents take great pride in their homes, and especially in their lawns. The local landscaping company provides the labor, and until recently, the homeowners provided the specific direction. For example, Mrs. Beely's south-facing lawn was perfect for flowers, so she had them planted everywhere. Mr. Sinclair's lawn bordered a small brook and got extra water, so he had it mowed every 5 days. And Jim's lawn required special fertilizer because of the weeds in the neighboring field. Different conditions demanded different attention, and each owner's knowledge of their own lawn made things work pretty well. That is, until last summer. That's when Steve, president of the community's homeowners association, decided to create and enforce a set of lawn care standards. At first, the changes were relatively minor, specifications for the height of grass and the frequency of mowing. But with each passing month, the regulations grew. Soon, standards were issued for the trimming of bushes, the planting of flowers, and even the fertilizing of soil. As a result of these new regulations, gone were the days of Mrs. Beely's flowers. Mr. Sinclair's grass was growing much too long between scheduled mowings, and Jim's lawn was quickly becoming overgrown with weeds. But these weren't the only problems. First, landscaping costs were skyrocketing. This prompted a steep increase in HOA fees. Second, the landscaping company was no longer answering directly to homeowners. Instead, even minor decisions, like laying mulch in Mrs. Owen's flower bed, were now made by Steve, and approval could take weeks or even months. Finally, community landscaping was now subject to Steve's every passing whim. For example, one morning Steve noticed how nice the pink flamingo looked on Bill's lawn. And sure enough, the next month, every lawn on the street had a pink flamingo out front. Later, it was bird baths, then sunflowers, and sculpted bushes. Well, you get the idea. It seems like everyone but Steve could see the problem. The new regulations were doing a lot more harm than good, and residents were not happy with the changes. Does this story sound familiar? If you're a parent or a taxpayer, then it should. Per the U.S. Constitution, public schools have traditionally been under the jurisdiction of the state, local leaders, and parents. However, beginning in the 1960s, the federal government began to wrestle away control of the education system. Today, there are more than 151 federal education programs across multiple agencies, controlling everything from teacher qualifications to the frequency of testing, and even what food is served in the cafeteria. And unfortunately, this has led to increased costs, added bureaucracy and red tape, and a variety of well-meaning but ill-advised initiatives. But let's return to our story. Fortunately, the residents of 50 Estates decided they'd had enough. At the next Homeowners Association meeting, residents voted unanimously to scrap the centralized landscaping regulations and return control to homeowners. And today, things are pretty much back on track. How will your story end? To learn more about the direction of federal education policy and how it will affect your school, please visit heritage.org/madesimple.